Hello, welcome to the second of the two videos for N4. So first up, how do we use a calculator to find a percentage? Now we're going to look at three ways, and you just choose your favourite or the best way. Now there is the calculator, and let's have a look for an example in how would we find 20% of 760. Now there are three ways, as I said. The first way is we're going to use the percent key. Now you might say, I've never seen the percent key, where is it? Well, if you have a look here, there's shift, and then just above that bracket there's a little brown percent, and that's how we access the percent key, shift and open bracket. So if we wanted to find 20% of 760, have a look at the calculator, and we'll see what we press. 20 for 20, shift bracket for the percent. Now of is multiply, and then 760, and finally the equals, and the answer is 152. So this is what we press if we want to do it that way using the percentage key. We do 20 shift open bracket times whatever the amount is and equals. So let's have a look at the second way, and then for 20% this time we're actually going to type in 20 divided by 100. So let's have a look what we press. Look at the calculator. So we do 20 divided by 100, and once again of is times 760, and we finish with an equals, and there's the answer, 152. So this is what we press. 20 divided by 100 times 760. Percent means divided by 100. And this way is another way of doing it, this third way. Not very often we see this used, and that's using a decimal, 0.2 for 20%. So let's have a look what we would press there. 0.2 over on there, the red circles on the calculator keys, of 760 times 760 equals 152. So this is what we pressed for that one. We did 0.2 times 760 equals. Okay, so you choose your way. Let's have a look at an example then. How do you find 23% of 85 using a calculator? Let's have a look at the three ways, and you can choose which one you prefer. So first up, we're looking at using the percentage key. So we do 23 shift percent, the open bracket key, and then in this case it's times 85 equals, and that's 19.55, or you could do 23 divided by 100 times 85, or you could say 0.23 times 85. Okay, so let's have a look at an exercise. Okay, here we go. Choose which one you like, and we're going to do this exercise. Use a calculator to find the following percentages. So press pause, work them out, press play when you want the answers. Okay, how'd you get on? So let's have a look at the answers. So you must have chosen a way, and hopefully you agree with these. 106.58, 1049.98, 30% of 18.28 is 5.484. Number 4, 6% of 7.61, 0.4566. There's number 5. And last, 12.55. Okay, so let's have a look now how we do percentage increase and decrease. So we're looking with and without a calculator. Let's have a look at how we do it without a calculator first. So we're going to use manual methods to find percentages. So we're going to use things like this. 50%, you divide by 2. 25%, you get 50% and divide that by 2. 75%, find 50%, add 25%. To find 10%, you divide by 10, move the digits to the right. To find 20%, find 10% and double it. To find 70%, you find 10%, times it by 7. To find 1%, divide by 100, move the digits 2 places to the right. And if you wanted 3%, you would find 1% and times it by 3. So you use those manual methods to find the percentage, and if it's an increase, you add it on, and if it's a decrease, then you take it away, you subtract it. Okay, so let's have a look at the exercise. We'll do the first 2 together, and then you can do the last 6 on your own. So let's have a look at 1A. Increase £450 by 10%. So first up, let's find 10%. That's £45. It's an increase of £45, so we're going to add it. It's 450 plus 45 is £495. B, increase 800 by 75%. Well, let's find 50% first. That's 400. 25% is 200, so that makes 75% 600. So that's what the increase is, so we add it. The new amount is 1,400. So over to you now to have a go at the 2 increases there for C and D, and then 4 decreases on question 2. Press pause, and then press play when you want to check the answers. Okay, so let's have a look. 1C, we're going to increase 64 kilograms by 50%. Well, 50% of 64 kilograms is half of that, which is 32. So the increase is 32. So the new amount, 96 kilograms. We're going to increase £200 by 3%. Well, let's work out 1%. That's £2. So 3% is 3 lots of that, which is £6. So that means the increase is £6. Added on, 200 plus 6, 206. Let's have a look at question 2, the decreases. Decrease 650 by 20%, £650 in fact. So 10% is £65, so 20% must be twice that, £130. It's a decrease, and we're taking it away, £520. Next up, $400, decrease it by 70%. Well, 10% is $40, 70% must be 7 lots of that, $280. We take it away, 400 minus 280, $120. So, 2C, decrease 360 degrees by 5%. Well, 10% is 36 degrees, 5% is half of that, which is 18 degrees. Take it away, 342 degrees. And then decrease 120 kilograms by 25%. Well, 50% is 60 kilograms, 25% is half of that. It's a decrease, take it away, 90 kilograms is the answer. If you got any of those wrong, press pause, go back and correct them. Make sure you can do percentage increase and decrease manually. Now let's have a look how we do it using a calculator. Now, we're going to look at 2 possible ways of doing the calculation, and then 3 ways of using the calculator. So it's going to be a little bit confusing, but you'll find your best way. Choose it and then use it. So let's have a look. How do we use a calculator to increase 500 by 23%? Well, what we could do, we could use our calculator to find 23%, which we learned in the first part of this video, and then we could just add it on. Or we could do it a slightly cleverer way. We could say, well, it's an increase, so 100% plus 23% is 123%, and we could use our calculator to find 123%. If you don't like that method, just ignore it, don't worry about it. So let's have a look how we would do that in terms of pressing buttons. So use a calculator to increase 500 by 23%. So now using the percentage key, we would do 23 shift, open bracket, times 500 equals, we get an answer, and then we would add that on. If you wanted to do it the clever way, you'd be finding 123%. So then you would do 123 shift, open bracket, times 500. So that's using the percentage key. If you want to do it dividing by 100, well, you'd find 23% by doing 23 divided by 100 times 500, and then you would add that to 500. If you wanted to do it the clever way, you'd say, well, I'm going to find 123%, so you do 123 divided by 100 times 500. And finally, if you wanted to use decimals, you would do 0.23 times 500, and then add that to the 500. If you wanted to be clever, if you add in 0.23 to your original amount, you'll have 1.23 times 500. So there's essentially 6 ways. I would say the best ways are one of those 2. Either do 23 shift open bracket or 23 divided by 100 and then add it on. I think that's just the easiest way to avoid mistakes in an exam. So let's have a look how we decrease 500 by 23% using a calculator. Well, we could use our calculator, nice and simple, get 23%, subtract it, or we could be clever. we could say, well, we had 100%, we're decreasing by 23%, so that means we're left with 77%. And then we could find 77% using our calculator. So before we do the exercise, let's have a little look at what that means in terms of pressing buttons. We could use the percentage key. Okay, we could do 23 shift open bracket times 500, that gives us 23%, and subtract it. Or over there on the right, we can see that we've got to find 77%. So we could be clever and say, okay, I'm just finding 77%. I'm going to use the percentage key. Another way of doing it would be to find 23%, doing 23 divided by 100 times 500, and then subtract it because it's a decrease. Or you could be clever and say, well, that's 77% I'm looking for, and do 77 divided by 100. Or you could use decimals, 0.23 times 500, and then subtract that because it's a decrease. Or you could do, well, 1 minus 0.23 is 0.77. So there's 6 ways again, but my advice, use one of those two. Either do 23 shift open bracket to get 23%, take it away, or do 23 divided by 100, and then subtract that from your original. Okay, time for an exercise. There we go. Have a go at questions 3 and 4 using the calculator. Press pause, work them out, write them down, and then when you want to check the answers, press play. Okay, how did you get on? Well, let's have a look. So first thing we've got to do is find 13%. So that's that much. It's an increase, so we add it on. £54.24. Now you could have been clever and done 48 times 1.13. Okay. I think it's easier to work out the percent and add it on, but there's the clever way in the red and yellow. Okay, part B. So 61%. We work out that's the increase. Add it on, and we should have 370.3 grams. I think that's the best way in doing it. Could do it the clever way. There it is. 3 part C, the increase is 7% of 1,470, 102.9. Add them on, what do you get? 1,572.9. There's the clever way. You might want to ignore that. You might want to use it. And then question number 4. 634 decreased by 79%. There's 79%. Take it away. Remember, it's all calculator work. 133.14. You could have been clever and worked out 21%, 0.21. Whichever way you've done it, make sure you've got a way of getting it right. 111, 111, 42% is that much. It's a decrease. We subtract it. 64.38. Could have been clever, worked out 58%. And then the last one, 4 part C. There we go. 561 grams. Decrease it by 3%. That's 3%. Decrease it. There's the answer. You could have been clever and worked out 97%. Check those answers. If you've got any wrong, go back and make sure you can do them. So that's it. We've done N4 video 2. And I will speak to you next week on N5. It's bye for now.